one and only DNVR. Two goes out to Zach, Mace, RK, and the bar. Three for Mr. B in that old trophy case. Number four, we're still waiting for, well, bring on the chase. Out on the field at Mile High, Broncos win is our desire. Coupled with a break, brew and a friend, bleed orange and blue to the bitter end. Come and join us, DNVR. We are DNVR.
We are DNVR, and we are live from Studio A. A lot of people saying we're back in the comments. No idea what they're talking about.
We're back, baby.
We didn't leave.
No.
This is the first time we've started the show.
We're off to a much hotter start right now,
Yes,
too.
we're feeling great. And, of
Much
course,
hotter.
we are presented by MSU Denver Online. It's probably been a while since you guys have heard this ad, so let's do it again.
Yeah.
MSU Denver Online, the place to go if you're looking for an online education in Denver or anywhere, because you can do it from the comfort of your living room. And MSU Denver students work twice as many hours as students attending any other Colorado institution. So make sure you check it out. If you're looking to work a full-time job and continue to further your education, there's no better place than MSU Denver Online.
My boy, Ryan. So do we just go through what we've already talked about really quick? Chiefs, bad. Broncos, good.
Good, yes.
Job security, ball security for Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Harbaugh, smart.
Oh, did he let those hang out?
Yep. Lamar, awesome.
Broncos first in the AFC West.
Yes.
Lamar good. Teddy Bridgewater, even better?
Well, yes, because he's undefeated. Lamar also not undefeated. Neither is Patrick Mahomes. We talked, we were working towards getting into the Teddy Bridgewater
We're working up
conversation.
towards a big climax.
And, Jesus. And we were just getting to
That's
the
how
best part.
story building goes, right?
Yes,
What do you
I
think I'm
know.
talking
I know.
about?
We had the rising action.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, up to the climax, falling
We're
action.
building it.
There was
There was no falling.
prelude into the rising action.
Yeah, sure, yeah. And we didn't even fall. We just died.
We were, whoosh,
Yeah.
yeah, and then
The
it
show
all,
was too good.
Yeah, it all just dropped off. Yeah, let's just jump right into it.
Two gloves.
Where are you on Teddy Bridgewater right now, and how do you balance the quality of opponent with the stats that you're seeing, but also the fact that it was on the road? I feel like that shouldn't be overlooked.
Two back-to-back road games. He has not played at home yet. And Ryan, he's putting up incredible stats. So what's most impressive to you? 77% completion, 592 passing yards. So nearly 300 passing yards per game, 4 touchdowns, 0 picks, 120 passer rating, or the second best QBR in the NFL, only to Tyrod Taylor.
Like I said, that's all really impressive. The most impressive thing to me is that Teddy Bridgewater leads the NFL in throws attempted of 20 or more yards. That, to me, is really impressive. Now, some of it has to do with the way the Jags played them yesterday. But this is really important to note, Zach. What happened with Case Keenum? What happened with Trevor Siemian? What happened with a lot of these guys is defenses said, okay, they don't want to do this, so let's force them to do it. And then they couldn't do it. And a lot of times it was the same thing as yesterday. They don't want to throw the ball deep. They can't stretch the field, so let's just take away the short. And that's what the Jags did, is they said, hey, don't let Teddy get those easy 5-yard completions. Just take those away, and they won't have anything to go to. Teddy said, watch this. And he started working the ball down the field. He started taking shots to Cortland Sutton. He really put the ball up in the air a lot. And he showed me that the entire narrative that, oh, Teddy can't push the ball down the field was just wrong. And as I was building up to, I said I've been working on a tweet just listing off all the things I've been wrong about, I was wrong about. And I know I'm not the only one. Hopefully I'm the first, I start a wave of everyone just, admitting to their sins here. Teddy can't push the ball down the field. Wrong. We know what Teddy is. Wrong. He can't get the fans excited. Wrong. He doesn't give you something to look forward to in the future. Wrong. All of this stuff to this point has been wrong. Now, I think it's way too early for any sort of, extension conversation or anything like that. But
there's no need to right now.
There's no need to. But we're working towards that. And obviously, Zach, if this is the type of quarterback play he continues, then that conversation is going to be an easy one. It's going to say...
Will it?
Yes.
Because even just a couple weeks ago, you still were on, like, there's nothing he can do to make me sign him up.
I don't think I said that.
Okay,
but if I
Tim
did,
said
wrong.
It. You were close,
add it to the list.
maybe, to that.
No, to me, it's just... Look, if he can continue this. Now, that's just the ball. Maybe I'm setting the bar at an unrealistic point. Because, like we just said, he's second best quarterback. And really... Since Tyrod Taylor only played half the game yesterday, through 2 games, Teddy Bridgewater the best quarterback in the NFL so far.
Yep, better than Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. But Ryan, he set the bar so high that he can come down to earth a little bit and still be the quarterback that the Broncos need, whether it's for the long term or whether it's just for this year. And he probably is going to come back down because he's going to throw an interception or 2. He's going to play better defenses, but he's also going to be playing at home, so it's not like he's been getting all of these easy passes. And one thing that we don't want to forget is the Jacksonville Jaguars defense, trash, really bad. The Giants defense, though, Ryan, we're talking about an average to maybe slightly above average defense, and he's been able to have massive success against both of those teams. In fact, he had nearly the exact same game, just outside of more yards yesterday, that he had the week before against the Giants, too. And one of the most impressive things, you talk about how the Jaguars said, we're going to take away the short stuff, so Teddy has to beat us deep. One of the things that Vic Fangio said, talking about the Broncos running game, was the Jags and Giants went to, quote, extreme measures to try and stop the Broncos running game. That just shows how impressive it is for Teddy, because he's not game managing. He's taking these games over. And then what happens when he actually gets really good work from his running game, besides just, really adding it on in the fourth quarter with that Melvin run against the Giants, with the good Javonte runs yesterday, that really, when the game's been tight, it's all been on Teddy Bridgewater's shoulders. What happens and how much better can he look and how much more does he have to offer when he's given a help in the running game?
Or what happens when he starts getting, the home whistle next week? Mm-hmm. Because there's a few that they left out there yesterday.
Brutal.
Yeah, 2, right? 2 different ones to Cortland.
Yep.
Cortland could have like 250 yards receiving if it weren't for those 2 interferences. And obviously the Broncos probably add 2 additional scores if those are called. They don't get the whistle yesterday. They didn't need it. Doesn't matter. But, that kind of goes into a conversation we were starting to have, which is about they return home this week. And I believe Teddy Bridgewater is going to get the loudest ovation of any Bronco. Now, Vaughn is going to put up a serious fight here because it's his return to the field. He was out all last season, although so were all the fans. So he has some fierce competition from Vaughn, but do we know which? We actually know, they won't compete against each other.
They won't compete, and so that's my question.
They're going
PR
defense. Yeah.
They're going defense.
Yeah,
I'm going offense.
I would too, but the defense has Justin Simmons. It has Von Miller. I hope they go offense because I really want Teddy. I think Teddy has earned it to this point. He should get that ovation.
How many times do you think in the Peyton Manning era, the first game at home, they went with defense over offense?
Never.
It couldn't have happened, right?
Yeah.
If you really want to back your quarterback, you got to do it.
Well, that's like saying, how many times did, Kobe Bryant not get announced last?
Right.
It just,
right.
Probably, Shaq, maybe Shaq got last sometimes.
Ooh, maybe
How
that
about
was
MJ?
maybe that's where everything started. All the tiffs started between Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah. I remember something like Allen Iverson went back to the 76ers for a little while at the end of his career. And at that point, Andre Iguodala was on the team.
Boo.
He was the one getting announced last. And when AI came in, he was like, no, I get announced last. and just moved him out of the way. So,
wow.
I think that's the way the story went. Or maybe Andre Iguodala said, no, you don't. This is my spot now. You don't get to have it.
Right.
One of the AIs didn't let the other AI go.
Artificial intelligence is what I think of.
Teddy is going to get a massive ovation from those fans.
As he should.
And it's so cool because one of the things I talked about when they signed Teddy or when they made the trade for Teddy was this guy is like one of the most likable guys in the league. And he's cool. He is super likable. He's got swagger. He like checks off all the boxes, honestly, of a fan favorite.
Yep.
And then he's doing by far the most important one, which is playing good football. So this is going to be exciting. Vic Fangio has been looking forward to it for 2 weeks now. It's going to be awesome.
He didn't overlook yesterday.
Yeah, and I know the fans are in, Allie, because people are all over this shirt. We dropped the Teddy shirt yesterday, and I think it had the single most successful first day ever of any shirt we've had.
That
shows you how hyped people are on
thing
Teddy.
Of beauty.
It's
masterful.
Pretty sick. So, where is the right place to be right now, Zach? Is there a part where you're like overexposed if you're too high on Teddy Bridgewater right now? Vegas has the Broncos as the 5th shortest odds to win the AFC. They're all in on Teddy.
Ryan, here's what you do. You go all in on him. You just don't pay him. I mean, you can be all in on him, but you don't give him an extension now. You don't need to give him an extension now. But why would you not be all in on this guy? And then, Ryan, think of it from a Broncos perspective. They're even more all in on him. What?
Someone in the comments said Theodore Roosevelt.
Wow, there
so
we go.
Good.
Hey,
So
D-Line,
good.
why don't you start thinking about those for another shirt? Theodore Roosevelt.
A lot of people also hyped about the shirt in the comments there. DNVRlocker.com if you want to get in on one of those. You're joining a elite club if you do, but
Yes.
a large club.
Yeah, I mean a Teddy Club, which is what we call the elite club now. But Ryan, the Broncos are even more all in on Teddy than I think even the fans are, even the most excited fans. And the reason, George Paton views this guy as a first-round pick. He traded up in the first round to get him. Now, he only had to give up a 6th-round pick to bring him in this year. But George is all in on him. And what George and Vic kept pointing to was, look, he was a Pro Bowler before he got injured, had this terrible injury. Then he went out, and with the Saints, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. We're seeing a pretty similar stretch that Teddy's working on right now. Now, he's only about halfway through that, but he's proven to be maybe capable of doing that again. And then last year, they kind of just say, well, he was with a bad organization, with a team that didn't practice red zone, which is kind of mind-boggling to think of. So they view this guy as extremely good. So I think they're even more all in on Teddy than we are, that any other fan is.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be really interesting because Zach, right now, everyone was calling him Teddy 2 yards. Well, now he's Teddy 2 tuds. He's averaging 2 touchdowns a game, and he's on pace for double or more than double the best touchdown mark of his career. Now, again, I don't like what.
I got an over-under for you.
Okay.
Over-under the week or the game, Teddy Bridgewater breaks his record of single season touchdowns,
16?
15. So when he gets to 16, we'll say, I'll set the line at game 7.5.
Okay, so 7 times 2, 14. So the question is he go on a better pace than he's on right now, or does he stay on this pace?
If he stays on this exact same pace, it's the over. If he goes a tiny bit under,
right.
So literally less than half a season. That's just how much even he's blowing himself out of the water right now.
So this is where I am a little bit confused on this one, or I'm struggling with.
The math?
Right now, teams are selling out to stop the run. They're saying, take away the run, take away the short, and you'll beat Teddy Bridgewater. Well, the tape he just put out there should make the Jets really think twice before they do that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They're going to say, we don't really want to expose ourselves over the top because not only can he throw it down there, he happens to be really accurate when he does so.
Yeah.
So are teams going to start opening up the run? By the way, this will be the first time this happened since Peyton Manning, where the run opens up because the pass is so good.
Yep.
Is that what's about to happen? If that's the case, then it's definitely over. And it's not going to happen until, week 12, which is still crazy to say. If teams keep doing this, It'll be way sooner than that, in my opinion, because he is getting hotter and hotter. Like he was throwing the ball better down the field yesterday than he was the week before.
Yep.
Again, you get the home crowd, no crowd noise, all that stuff. He's going to get even better this week, in my opinion. So I think he could throw 4 this week easily. And then he's way over pace for that.
What's more likely? Zach Wilson, 4 interceptions. Teddy Bridgewater, 4 touchdowns.
Wilson 4 picks for sure. Dude, did you see those highlights?
Yeah. The lowlights?
He's just throwing it up like they're playing 500.
Yeah, really rough. And, man, Vic tried to...
Dudes are like running under it like they're punts.
Yeah, it was bad. And that just shows how much of a rookie he is, but also how bad that Jets team is.
Yeah, and he gets a tough break there because he goes up against Bill Belichick, who's like the ultimate rookie quarterback killer.
Yep.
And then I think you've written an article about this in the past. Vic is also up there in terms of making life a living hell for young quarterbacks.
Yep, which he did last week, or he did yesterday.
Yep.
Trevor Lawrence, how bad he was after that first series. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Do you know do you have the numbers, what it was after the first series?
Well, what did he have? He had like 60 yards in that first series, and then he finished with 118. So he had more in that first series than he did the rest of the game.
He had like 2 good throws the rest of the game.
The rest of the game? Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It looked really tough out there for him.
Yep.
And the problem is his supporting cast is bad.
His coaches are bad.
Yeah, his coaches are bad. I mean, it's not a good situation.
LaVisca okay though, which is good.
He doesn't need surgery.
No.
Okay, good. Thank God.
Yes.
Yeah, and he was terrible.
Yeah.
I think he set a record yesterday for worst yards per target ever.
By anyone?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because it was like 7 targets for -2 yards.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
But I think over at DraftKings Sportsbook, oh no, his rushing over under was half a yard.
No. Okay. Well.
And I thought he got it on that one play. I thought he got a yard. Oh, but was that a pass technically?
No. What do they have him at?
0.
1
yards.
carry for 0.
Yeah.
So in the game they had him 1 for 1.
Okay.
But he also had an over under 1 carry.
Oh,
Or
there you
0.5
go.
carry.
There
so
you go.
he covered that.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, they're a mess. The Jags are a mess. The Cardinals opened up as 7-point favorites over them. I'm like, just hammer that.
Wow. Only 7?
Yeah.
Wow. The Cardinals. I mean, is it just because you don't know what you're getting?
With the Cards?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like they got into a shootout yesterday with the Vikings, right?
Right,
Because
right.
the Vikings ran the ball all over them.
Right.
The Jags don't even attempt to run the ball.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah, it is.
It's really
And James
bad.
Robinson, 1,000-yard rusher after his first year. No, doesn't even touch.
He's averaging nearly 5 yards per carry in the season.
This year?
Yep. And he's getting 11 carries yesterday. I believe 10 carries or even 5 carries the week before.
They're bad.
Bad.
I'm so glad the Urban Meyer honeymoon is already over there. They're ready to turn on him.
They have already done both.
It's
Yep.
so good.
Yep, they've dumped him.
It's great. I
yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
I wish maybe everything only career-wise. I wish nothing but bad things for Urban
Wow,
Meyer.
that's very good. The
Yeah.
good vibes on this Monday.
Yeah.
Have you seen the TikToks where it's tracking delivery things? You know how you look at your package delivery from FedEx and it says en route on the car or something to be delivered?
Explain?
Just you know how FedEx says
yeah.
en route or something. Have you seen the ones on TikTok that I think they're real? Say dropped in the ocean.
Oh yeah.
That's Urban Meyer right now. The Jags are just trying to drop him in the ocean before
Jacksonville. It's not that far. Just shove
It's
him.
really true. It's really true. There's a lake or river right there.
Is there?
Yeah, there is.
I thought
Yeah.
there was just an ocean.
It probably stems from the ocean.
Yeah, I would assume so as well. Or stems to the ocean.
Can it do? It could do both. Well, not at the same time.
Getting way too deep down the geography path for me.
That's
all right.
where urban is on the tracking.
So just to put a bow on this, scale of 1 to 10. 1 is put in Drew this week. 10 is sign him up as soon as you can before the price gets even higher.
Okay. And I'm the highest level without
Before
paying him. Because, Ryan, the reason for that is if you pay him right now, you're buying high. Now, can the price, are you buying at the very top of the market? No, because if he literally continues this, then his price will go up. But right now, it's realistically as high as it's ever going to be. And so if you
tried to go to the table today, what would they say?
It's a great question because he would want that security. Look, people, was it his second year in the league? After 4 games, people were saying pay Trevor right now.
Yes.
You think Trevor would have said, "Nah, I want to drive my price even higher"? He probably would take it.
Hindsight being 2020, he would have taken it.
Yes. But Teddy now, he's already got a 3-year, $60 million contract. So he's not going to be taking the 3-year, $30 million deal. I think right now Teddy would say 4 years, $100 million.
Isn't there something in it for? Okay, well, that's a good deal.
For the Broncos?
That's actually what I said yesterday on the show. Henry and I talked about this, and I said, look, the $20 million days are gone. He already signed that deal, and he's better than he was when he signed that.
2 years ago.
So we have now reached the $25 million range.
Yep.
And I think that's even low.
Yep. I was going to say that's a baseline.
It's exactly what I said yesterday. That's the number you come to the table with.
Yep.
And it can only go up from there. But again, a conversation for another day. But it is fascinating.
Well, but what day? What day? Is it? I doubt.
If they beat the Ravens, it's time.
I was gonna say it's not.
Talk.
It's not next week.
No.
But man, if the Chiefs had beat the Ravens yesterday, we would have said, "Wow, Lamar's still got it." But the Ravens are they? Is that should the Broncos be favored? Is that not an easy game, but a game that we're saying the Broncos should win? I don't think now anyone's approaching that Ravens game and saying the Broncos should win. I think people are rightfully so saying the Broncos can win.
So it's a home game?
Yep. Right after the Jets.
The spread will be, if they beat the Jets the way that I think they will, the spread will be within a field goal.
I think so. Especially Broncos at home. They're going to get those 3 points, and then the Ravens probably be 2.5.
Yeah.
Ravens by 2.5.
I actually think the Broncos might be favored.
Wow. Well, I guess who do the Ravens play this week?
I don't know. I'll look it up.
No, you can't look it up because you're doing spread picks with Dre tomorrow.
That's okay. I can look it up in my ESPN app.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's the public perception of the Broncos is like really high right now.
Yep.
People were like ready to think the Broncos were good again. Like not just in Denver, like. They're like in the top 10 of power rankings all across the nation.
It's incredible.
Let's see what we got here. Ravens. No, that's this week. Ravens.
Drum roll. Brrr. Or instead of drum roll, do I do honk?
Yes, there you go. Wow, everyone knows that. Ravens take on the Lions, so they'll be 2-1.
Yep. They'll be coming off a beatdown.
Yeah, 2-1 off a beatdown. Broncos will be 3-0 off a beatdown. I think the Broncos might be favored in the game.
Wow. Not so fast. It'll be close though.
Okay.
So after that game, you think, or do you think they have to beat a good team on the road, which you'll probably get the very next week in the Steelers?
No, I'm not saying they should do the deal. I'm saying that's the week that we have to start having the conversation.
You're saying let's do the deal, man.
I mean, I don't know. That's going to be a crazy conversation. Because how many times have we seen a one-year wonder? And my thing is going to be, okay, if you're going to sign up Teddy... I can't believe I'm even starting this. Let's not start this right now, actually.
Really quick, 3-year, $90 million deal, fully guaranteed. The Kirk Cousins deal of many years ago.
Yeah, many years
Right
ago.
now.
No.
Okay, yeah, me neither. So, Ryan, I'm in at 8. That's
right.
I'm as in on him as possible without signing a deal.
I'm at an 8 as well. All right, so whether the Broncos are favorites, whether the Broncos are underdogs next week against the Ravens, or if you want to get in this week, you got to go to DraftKings Sportsbook to get in on the action. Monday Night Football tonight, Packers, Lions. You would have no real reason to watch this game other than to see if Aaron Rodgers is a fraud or not. But if you get some action on it, like I have across the board.
Love that there's a conversation on if Aaron Rodgers is a fraud. Welcome to the club, everyone.
Yeah, Zach's been trying to beat that drum for years, weirdly. But
Maybe rightly.
Is he having his you-know-what year is the real conversation.
Didn't we come up with a name for this? Because we can't call it the you-know-who year.
You're right. It's the you-know-what year.
The you-know-what year.
Yeah.
Do you think anyone gets that? That, like, is new to our show?
No, but I think they can use contextual clues to realize it means falling off.
Right. And we certainly wouldn't use the GOAT to talk about the falling off year.
Yes, exactly. That's why we stopped. It's
the
footnote year.
The footnote year.
Anyways, DraftKings Sportsbook is the place that you can get in on all the action. And like I said, I really recommend it for a game like tonight or Thursday Night Football or any other football game. But when you're going to sit down and watch a game, you don't necessarily have a rooting interest and you want one. Oh, man, you should have seen me. I was the biggest Fresno State fan in the world the other night.
Oh.
And I was a big Northern Arizona fan.
Yeah. I was a big Cincinnati fan. Down 14 this week.
Yeah.
A little ML.
Ooh,
money
live
line
money
over
line.
at DraftKings. Oh, came back and won. Boom. Mwah.
Yeah, chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Get in on it. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's #1 rated sportsbook app. And right now, if you bet $1, you can get $200 in free bets to test out all the things that you want to try betting on. And it comes in 8 $25 free bets, so you can really spread it around. And you can get a sign-up bonus up to $1,000 when you use the code DNVR. Of course, you must be 21 or older. Colorado only. Bonus comprised of a first deposit bonus and a first bet match, each up to $500. The deposit bonus requires a 25x playthrough and restrictions to apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.
Your money. And Ryan, can we get into our DraftKings Sportsbook pick of the week? Because this one is time-sensitive for me.
Okay.
And it's one that I know you've talked about.
Okay.
But it's one that this is kind of sweet for me. If I hit, I win, I cash out, I get money, I'm semi-rich. If I lose, well, then I'm right. So, it's tonight.
Emotional hedge.
It's tonight. Aaron Rodgers passing yards. I can't believe this number's under 300. For how bad he looked, I know that they look so bad last week. But Ryan, Aaron Rodgers passing yards, 284.5. I know Dre likes this.
Mm-hmm.
Smash the over.
Yeah, I put it in my big 3 as well on bets today.
Smash the over.
I'll do you one better, though, because I like Aaron Rodgers tonight as well.
Okay.
But to get to that number, I think he has to hit this number. Aaron Rodgers' longest completion tonight set it over under 38.5.
Oh.
And I think he gets one well over that early in the game.
Yeah.
And you get your money right away.
If you wanna hedge a little on here, sprinkle a little bit on Aaron Rodgers over 0.5 interceptions.
It's set
plus
at like
215.
Plus 215. Honestly, I like it. The problem is I just don't know who in the Lions defense is going to be able to make a play for them.
Maybe it's Dan Campbell.
Right.
Maybe
he
comes
goes
out
there, bites a kneecap, grabs a football. Wow. Poor Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
I mean, what is he supposed to do there?
Yeah, Jared Goffett.
I guess so. Last thing. Actually, you got something to tell the people about before I have another thing to tell the people.
Wait, what was your pick of the week?
38.5 passing yards. Longest completion.
Does that happen in the first quarter?
Yes.
Yeah.
First play. Calling my shot.
Devontae Adams?
Yes.
You can probably hit his overs too.
Yeah, 78, I believe it was.
Oh, come on. He's going to feast as well. But, Ryan, you're right. I have something to tell the people. Can't wait for this Sunday. Can't wait. First home game. I mean, Vic Fangio's using cuss words. That's how excited everyone is. I want to use a cuss word about what we're doing for this week. Let's fucking go. We are having the ultimate tailgate. And, guys, not only does it include pizza from Sexy Pizza, not only does it include Breck Brews, not only does it include an awesome tailgate environment, and not only does it include a bus from DNVR to the stadium, but Ryan, it's at an unbeatable price. I mean, you get one of these things for the price that you get all of these things.
Right.
Coming over with us. It's going to be unreal. Bar opens at 10. Game is, of course, at 2. Buses leave what time? 11? Yep, just like the CU one. This is the place to go. $20 to get into the tailgate if you're down there already. $30 to get the bus and the tailgate. And this is going to be just insane.
It is. And like I've been looking around, just like maybe I want to go to the game. Like that's how good the vibes are around the Broncos right now. I can't remember the last time I was like, man, I'd really like to just go to this game in the stands.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about this one. I'm like, this is going to be incredible. Either way, I'm going to finish up the show, the tailgate. This has become, we might have to change that name to like the digital tailgate. We're going to finish up the show, the tailgate. I'm going to hop on the bus and just go down to the stadium with everyone.
Yep.
And hang out down there and go to the physical tailgate. You got the digital tailgate, the physical tailgate. And
you're gonna ride the tail of the tailgate into the tailgate.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
And get in over there. It's going to be an absolute freaking blast.
We have Andy here saying flights from London to Denver. People are already looking up prices to see if they can get down here.
Well, €550? Yeah, it's not bad.
Pocket change if you hit a nice parlay at DraftKings.
There you go. So, guys, make sure you can check out our Twitter. There's a link. It's our pinned tweet in order to find out how to get it, or go to our event calendar on our website in order to get the tickets for the tailgate.
All right, Zach, moving along here. I want to just hear your takes on the game yesterday. We've talked Teddy now. We've talked about a few other things. Take me through your overarching feeling coming out of that game.
Well, first, I want to take you through Ball, Ryan.
Oh, okay.
And because Ball, I mean, we talked about, if you hit a nice parlay, then you get money. You have the €550, or that was pounds, I think, actually, to come to this. Or you can just get a job. Both of those could work to get you here for the tailgate. And if you want a job at Ball, they're hiring right now to their 400-person plant here in Golden, because the demand for sustainable aluminum beverage cans is greater than ever, and Ball is a fantastic place to work. And so here's how you land a job over with our friends at Ball. Go to jobs.ball.com, search for Golden, or text Golden, Golden, to 77222 to land a job at Ball. They're a fantastic place to work, and it's a job. I mean, it's a fantastic, they've got plenty of jobs open right now over at Ball.
Go over to Ball, get yourself a job. While you're there, while you're here, hit us with a thumbs up on YouTube if you're enjoying the show. All right, Zach. I actually listened to a little bit of radio today because sometimes it helps to see what the vibes are around town.
Good vibes?
No, terrible vibes.
Oh, what are we doing?
Terrible vibes on the radio today. Yes. So I wanted to hear what is your feeling coming out of that game, because everywhere I'm turning, I'm seeing criticism after criticism. Look, I think there's plenty things to criticize, but what's your overarching feeling?
Well, I guess since it's a critical day, special teams, we thought maybe wasn't a concern after week one. Still a concern, very critical, and who knows? I mean, Ryan, they're trying everything to improve it except firing the special teams coordinator. They're even playing starters on offense and defense.
How'd that work out for
Those
them?
guys are getting hurt when they do it. Then they're giving up touchdowns. So that's a criticism that we've known about, right? That shouldn't be breaking any headlines today. But Ryan, this defense, I mean, they're missing Bradley Chubb for most of yesterday. They're missing their starting cornerback, Ronald Darby. You had Patrick Surtain come in. Vic Fangio said it today. It was a damn good performance from Patrick Surtain. An unbelievable pick for the rookie. You have Kareem Jackson balling out. At today, Vic Fangio said he sees Kareem Jackson improving still, because this is only his third year playing safety. And so you look at this team, they've given up a total of 14 points on defense in 2 weeks against bad teams, but on the road and still against NFL teams. I mean, the bar's being set for, okay, when you play the Baltimore Ravens in 2 weeks, hold them to 17 points. And that doesn't seem crazy to think of. A team that just dropped, 34-36 against the Chiefs last night? You have them at home. So this defense is really, really good. And that's really exciting because what did we say? The formula for this team wasn't Teddy Bridgewater coming out and carrying them to the playoffs, even though in this form he can do that. The formula for this team was an elite defense, and they look like that right now.
Yeah, my number is always 24. If you score 24 points on offense, you should expect to win. And if you give up more than 24 points, you should expect to lose. Well, they didn't. This is what's so great for this Broncos team. They probably should have, but they didn't get over the 24 number yesterday. And the game was never even close to being in danger.
Yep.
Now, again, You play the Chiefs, you're going to have to score 24 at least. And that feels really low to me, but sometimes you can get them off schedule and get them a little bit out of whack. This defense is insane, and because people are so excited about Teddy Bridgewater, people are so happy to have something to be happy about at the quarterback position that they aren't even talking about the defense right now.
Yeah.
I think the defense is fine with that. Everything they've been talked about, about for 5 years now. That's the only thing anyone's ever had to talk about. But it's very true. They gave up, you said 14 points total. Technically, it's like 20 because they gave up the late touchdown. But we're not counting that one. We're not counting that one. QB draw. God, what a... that actually really pissed me off.
What a weak call.
Yes. You're running misdirection with 1 second left.
So bad.
Anyways. What's up? Anyways.
What's up?
We aren't talking about the defense enough.
Yep.
And yesterday you have guys like Caden Stearns come in. You saw Jonathan Cooper get some play out there. It's kind of just like plug and play right now because they're so good.
Yeah. You're exactly right. And also, Ryan, is the running game, like we talked about earlier, is really encouraging just how this offense is working without the running game. So I pulled it up from yesterday. Guess when this was still a game at halftime, when the Broncos were only up 10-7, guess the Broncos' yards per carry.
When the Broncos were up 10-7.
So still a game. Before they really started picking it up at the end of the game.
2.3.
Really close. 2.1. And this offense, sure, they weren't flying away with it. They only had 10 points at half. But still, I mean, they were in a game. Teddy had then put the team on his back, 189 passing yards in the first half when the running game was doing nothing. The Jags could have easily just stepped back and said, fine, we've shut down your running game. Now we're going to take away Teddy. And they weren't able to take away Teddy.
Right, and then the running game finally heated up a little bit. Javonte Williams, by the way, double the amount of yards as Melvin Gordon on the same amount of carries. I wonder if there eventually starts to come a shift. Because, again, I don't like taking away players' best plays, but if you take away the 75-yard touchdown, Melvin's, that's about his average, right? 2.5 yards a carry right now.
Yep.
Whereas Javonte, much higher than that.
Right, yeah. And Javonte, speaking of guys that are just so encouraging, Ryan, Javonte Williams, when he gets the ball, whether it's outside, inside, he's a guy that, he feels like Brandon Marshall. It's going to take more than one guy to tackle him. Whether it's because he jukes a guy, rolls him over. He is just so much fun to watch. And then Ryan, of course, be remiss if we didn't talk about Courtland Sutton and the game that he had, the dominance that he had.
He was incredible. He was our DraftKings king of the game yesterday. And what's crazy, and Henry and I talked a lot about this yesterday, so we won't go too into it, he's definitely not 100%. No, not even close.
He's not.
I think he's like 80.
Yep. And we saw that the week before.
Yeah. Not
just with the one catch for 14 yards, but talking about just how he didn't look like he was running for that deep ball that Teddy threw him. And still, he's able to put up career highs. And like you said earlier, it could have been 250 yards that he had in the game, or at least 200. He would have blown away his numbers, Ryan.
Yeah, exactly. Now he's back on pace for a 1,000-yard season after having 14 yards in the first game. In fact, he's well on pace for it.
And how big is that for this team? Losing Jerry Jeudy, and I was questioning last week, I don't think they have a number one receiver on their team the way Courtland was right now. Well, he certainly proved me wrong, Ryan.
Yeah, he was a bona fide number one yesterday. And the only thing he's lacking right now is the short area quickness. Mm-hmm. So just keep sending him deep.
Yep.
If you throw that 5 times a game, you will never hear a complaint from me.
Nope. And you'll be hitting some of those.
Oh, yeah. And that's going to, again, continue to make those safeties take a step back, open up the run game, open up the middle of the field for Noah Fant, open up that great crossing route for Tim Patrick like they did. By the way, hats off to Pat Shurmur. Now that he trusts his quarterback, he's actually getting into his bag a little bit.
Yes.
That little bunch that they ran a little bunch right and sent everyone, pulled the entire middle of the field was wide open. Tim Patrick walks through and gets an easy touchdown. Everyone at the bar gets a shot because that's what the Wheel of Destiny said. One of my favorite Pat Shurmur calls I've seen.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. Ryan, someone else that it seems like it's a bigger blow than in years past, Josie Jewell. A guy who was really having a fantastic start on the defensive side of the ball, including in yesterday's game, came up with a big tackle for a loss. Pretty much done for the season. I mean, that's what it looks like. Torn pec. Broncos, I think they're getting second evaluations right now just to confirm it. But you feel so bad for Josie, not just because he's out for the year, but contract year when he was balling. And this is a guy who was making plays, had a forced fumble last week. And then also, he's your play caller. He's calling the shots. He's the guy that Vic Fangio really, really trusts. Justin Strnad today said that Josie is one of the smartest football players he's ever been around. That's going to be a blow more than people realize.
Yeah, I think people did start to realize it like yesterday in the first quarter.
Yep.
They were like, man, this guy's awesome. He had 2 tackles for loss. He was already leading the team in tackles. But Justin Strnad came in and I thought did a really admirable in his first ever true NFL action.
Yep.
He was tied for the team lead in tackles. I think he had 4 solo tackles. So it's going to be a huge test for him. He's probably going to get the green dot now. And they're going to rely on Josie to kind of coach him, I think. And if he's one of the smartest football players who's ever been around, I think it'll be, very beneficial to have him in his ear. Best thing I'll say for Josie, this is not an injury that precludes anything in the future. What I mean is if this was an ACL for a guy who's already limited in mobility or an Achilles or anything like that, I'll touch wood. Those are the types of injuries for a guy like him who isn't that physically gifted would have been in big trouble. This one, he'll heal, it'll be fine, and he'll be good to go. And I guess it'll just come down, I think it's going to come down to Vic Fangio whether or not he comes back.
Yeah, and Vic loved him last year, I think more than anyone else did. So Josie very well could be back. If Vic is back, and the way it's going right now, it seems like Vic will be back. And Ryan, you said something there that Josie will heal, he'll be fine, he'll be back. Big question mark about Bradley Chubb, though, because we know he went out with the ankle, confirmed today that it is the same ankle, just re-aggravated it. He was medically cleared. Bradley wanted to play. The Broncos said, well, if both of those things are good, you can play. Now he takes, and this is my opinion, he takes a big step back. Vic Fangio did not put a timeline on him returning, but I can't imagine that this is going to be something that's done anytime soon. And Ryan, how much of an impact did Bradley Chubb have on that game yesterday?
Negligible.
How much did they need him yesterday?
Not at all.
Why did they bring a questionable guy? He was listed as questionable when you didn't really need him. I get every game in the NFL is important. Why did they rush him back? The Broncos had a great luxury in week 1, week 2, week 3. If anyone is banged up, unless it's like Teddy or something, and you didn't have the trust in Drew or something, but why would you do this? I get he was medically cleared. I get he wanted to play. He's kind of on a contract year himself, trying to fight for a contract after this season. He's always going to want to play. Now he's sidelined for who knows how long. I mean, there's not a game on the calendar that I'd point to and say, yeah, he'll definitely be back in terms of the foreseeable future.
Yeah, short-term IR seems like a foregone conclusion.
Yeah.
And it's just a really, really unfortunate mismanagement by the staff, George Payton. Everyone kind of has a hand in this.
Yep.
You mentioned it, the word luxury. There's a lot of years where week 2, you've got the Steelers on the schedule last year. You didn't have that luxury last year. You needed all of your weapons if you're going to win that game. Everyone in the world knew the Broncos were winning yesterday.
Yep. And if they weren't, they had a lot bigger problems than Bradley Chubb.
Right, exactly. They had the luxury of hitting on Jonathan Cooper, so they still have depth beyond Malik Reed there.
Yep.
They have the luxury of Von Miller playing out of his mind right now. He looks like the Von Miller of old. They had every reason in the world. I don't understand how they could have sat in a room. Maybe they didn't, but I imagine they sat down and had a conversation about this. And they came out of it saying, let's play him?
Yeah.
Like, in what conversation where logic is being used do you come to that conclusion?
Open your eyes, people. Like, what are we doing here? Because, Ryan, I couldn't agree more with you. And you are going to need Bradley Chubb if you want to really take that just next step up. And who knows when you're going to have him.
Baltimore should have been, from the very beginning, Baltimore should have been the game where you said we need Bradley in that game. And you are going to need him. And now you're not going to have him.
Big time need him to control Lamar Jackson.
Yes. Your edges, I mean, that's all they do is try to expose the edge.
How about that little pop pass that he had? Like, it was very unintentional.
Yeah, I was going to say, people are like comparing it to Tebow. I was like, no, that's a designed play.
Yeah.
This was like he saw him at the last second and was like, I think I can get this out there.
He was going to run up the middle himself.
Yes.
If not, yeah.
And then he just saw Hollywood just all alone back there. Which, by the way, so many busted coverages this week.
Oh, my gosh. Seriously.
Just like Rondale Moore, wide open, no one within 30 yards of him.
Yep.
There's that one to Hollywood. I feel like there's another one I saw where I'm just like, there's no one there?
How does this happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan, did you see? This is kind of sad, but it's pretty crazy. Did you see Carson Wentz's injury?
Did I witness it?
Do you know his injury that he has?
Something with his ankle.
He has a sprained ankle on his left side. What a bummer. He has a sprained ankle on his right side. He has 2 sprained ankles. How does that happen?
Double sprain.
How does that? Is that the same play?
No, I think one was probably already sprained, and they had it nice and taped up, and then he went and sprained the other one.
Oh, my gosh. Carson Wentz just cannot catch a break.
Some guys just don't get healthy and stay healthy, and that's what I'm worried about with Bradley Chubb.
Yeah.
Because you invested so heavily in Bradley Chubb, and that's a whole conversation for an off-season topic of the miss that was just because.
Did you know they could have drafted Josh Allen?
Oh,
have you heard that?
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
They also could have traded back and drafted Jair Alexander, which was something that they wanted to do.
They also could have got Lamar Jackson.
They also could have gotten Lamar Jackson.
And played him a wide receiver, of course.
In the famous words of John Elway, he's going to be a good quarterback for somebody.
John was right.
He was. He was right. Ding, ding. For somebody who was never going to be the Broncos. They invested so heavily, and this is one of those things that's like, do you call it a bust? Because it's not really his fault.
Right.
But the Broncos sure aren't getting any payoff out of drafting Bradley Chubb number 5 overall.
And
the Broncos' record with Vaughn and Chubb on the field is worse than without them on the field at the same time.
Yeah, and what have we seen? How good was how crazy was it that when they were both out on the field, it was a flashback to 2019 when they were both on the field to start the season, and there was nothing. There was no sacks. There was no pressures. There was no turnovers. It was the exact same. I mean, that Trevor Lawrence drove the ball down the field. There was no pressure. And Ryan, I'm going, oh my gosh. What?
What's the deal?
Yeah, and then it wasn't when Chubb left, but then after Chubb left, the pressure was fine.
Is there some sort of
too much pressure?
Falling back on the other one? You know what I mean? If I don't get there, he will?
Maybe, but neither of these guys have got to the quarterback for more than 10 sacks in over 2 years.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a really weird phenomenon. And again, how many games have they played together? Do you remember it?
I think it's 18 or something. There's 18 and 22.
And they're 6-12 or something in those games.
Yeah.
And without them, they're much closer to 500.
Yep.
19 and 21 or something along those lines.
Yeah, that's a winning culture, baby. 19-21.
Gosh.
2-0.
Any other injury stuff that's lingering out there?
Everyone's good.
Glasgow? What do we know? Anything?
Expects to play this week. And Vic, I know how high Vic and the coaching staff were on Netani Muti. I think after yesterday, they're saying, we need Graham back in there.
4th highest PFF grade of anyone on the team.
How
and
about
the
that?
offense, on the offense.
How about that on the offense? So is Graham going somewhere else then? Because they want Graham back on that offensive line. Is this when you take the step of, okay, Graham's going to center?
I don't think Moody was quite good enough.
Okay. To truly hold him off?
To say, you can't take this guy off the field.
At what point do you shake up the interior of the offensive line if the running game is still pretty underwhelming? Because I don't think it's the running backs. I do think it's the interior of the offensive line.
I don't know.
If you drop the Ravens and the Steelers, and because you had to be so one-dimensional, and then you're 3-2, and
shouldn't you be proactive rather than reactive?
Of course, yeah, of course you should be. But
so, like, should you do it this week and see what happens?
Yeah,
that makes sense to me.
Yep.
Try it this week and see what happens. If it doesn't work, then go back to whatever.
I feel like that's what innovative teams do, and teams that are willing to take risks do, because otherwise it's just a lot of reaction and doing things after the fact.
Yeah, I mean, how much were we talking about when Vic Fangio went 0-4, and then he made the move to Alexander Johnson and Mike Purcell, and it was like, you guys couldn't stop the run, and now you can stop the run. What took you 4 weeks to make this decision?
Right.
So is this that situation where he looks and says, hey, we have to be able to run the ball.
Yep.
So let's try something now. And you're not going to get the best litmus test against the Jets, but it's like, a college team taking on a much lower level team in the early weeks of the season, saying like, hey, let's get some guys in there. Let's try some things out. It's almost like this is so disrespectful to the Jets, but I don't care. It's almost like a preseason game.
It should. I mean, the guy just threw 4 picks yesterday.
Right. And they have no identity anywhere.
No. Wait, it's a tough place to be Robert Saleh right now.
Yeah. And like, I'm sure he'll have that team fighting because he has a great, personality. I'm sure they like him.
Man, Vic was kind of tossed a softball today. 2 things about Vic. Tossed a softball about Saleh because I guess they overlapped a little bit in Houston so many years ago. And he was like, well, Robert got there late, and, he's doing good things. I mean, it was like, okay. Vic isn't too scared of him.
Does Vic strike you as someone who, like, except for maybe the greats, thinks that, like, every other coach sucks?
Probably, yeah.
Like, he didn't give any praise to Urban Meyer last week either.
No.
Not that Urban Meyer deserves it.
No, he's like, never met the guy. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I get the feeling that he's like, okay, like, he respects Belichick.
Right.
And, whoever, Saban or whatever. Like, and then if you ask him about, like, Kyle Shanahan, behind closed doors, he'd be like, shtick offense.
Just a young
easy
kid.
to stop. Yeah.
Just riding on his dad's coattails.
Probably respects Andy Reid.
All right.
Gruden, he thinks Gruden's a fraud.
Yo, big time. Big time. Let me tell you about him, man.
Yeah, like I really get the feeling if you got Vic Fangio like 2 glasses of wine deep, and he would just like rail on NFL coaches.
Yeah, I think you're right. Second thing about Vic, he lied to me today. Ryan, I asked him, are you surprised that he lied to me?
Well, no. If you gave him 2 glasses of wine, some truth serum, maybe he would be more honest.
It has to be red, right, with the meatballs and pasta?
That's what I was imagining in my head.
Yeah. Zinfandel?
I think, I don't know.
I don't either. I don't know red wine.
I think that's a white wine.
Okay. See, told you how much I know about it. Well, there's a white Zinfandel.
So there's white Zinfandel and red Zinfandel?
I think it's just Zinfandel. I don't know. I don't know if anyone here knows their wines.
A little Cabernet.
White Zinfandel is pink.
Oh.
Merlot or something.
I could have just said a red blend. How about a red blend?
Yes.
There we go. I think that's red. But anyways, back to Vic not telling me the truth. I asked him, what has surprised you about Teddy's game in these first 2 weeks? He said nothing.
Mm-hmm. I knew he was going to say nothing.
Then why was there a quarterback competition if you knew he was going to be the second highest quarterback rating, 120 passer rating?
Yeah, a lot of people were saying, a lot of people now are saying, like, everyone was so dumb for thinking that the quarterback competition was slanted against Drew when really Teddy was just better than him. And I was like, no, you're conflating 2 totally different things. What we were saying is, the competition is slanted against Drew because they want Teddy to be the quarterback. So that I still believe that to be true. They never wanted Drew to be the quarterback. We're now seeing that was for good reason.
Sure.
But the whole thing was a fart. It was a waste of everyone's time.
Wait, it was a fart?
Farce.
Oh, farce. Yes.
Yeah.
No. And then the fact that they took it so deep into this. Vic wanted
Just a
Teddy.
waste.
But you know what? It's not coming back to bite him.
No, it's not. It's not. And the only thing that's going to be awkward is if the contract thing, if he plays so well that the contract thing comes up.
It's going to be awkward.
It is going to be awkward.
It's going to be awkward because especially, let's say, Ryan, in 4 weeks from now, bless you, The Broncos are 4-1, 5-1. Teddy is, what would this be? 12 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. This is a legitimate time to give him a contract extension.
Yes, but the price is going to be insane. He's going to be in the MVP conversation.
It's going to be insane. And it's not just going to be 1 year, $35 million. You're going to be talking 4 years, $120 million, $75 million guaranteed.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to get really awkward. Woo. You know, Drew Kreisman always talks about how awkward arbitration hearings are in baseball.
Yeah.
Because basically this team that's like employing this guy and wants to keep him around has to go
beat him down
and just talk about how much he sucks.
Yeah.
And like that's what the Broncos are going to have to do if they try to sit down with Teddy's agent, as Teddy is like, again, like an MVP front runner.
Yeah.
And the Broncos are, 5-1, 4-1.
Yep.
And they're going to have to sit down and say, well, but, I mean, look at all this other data that we have. And it's just like it's going to be really awkward.
And then that puts a lot of the other contract extensions and what the Broncos can do in the offseason and puts it up in the air. And we said we didn't want to have this conversation, but we're kind of having it now. But you may want to pay Bradley Chubb, although now that has really taken a hit if he's going to miss more time. Courtland Sutton, now you may really want to pay with him with how he's looking like he's going to go over 1,000 yards. And then if you're paying a quarterback $35 million, Ryan, and you're tied up in that hurts in those areas.
A conversation for another day. This has been a great conversation. A shout out to everyone who's been tuning in. Shout out to everyone in the comment section. Appreciate all of you guys. And make sure you hit us with a thumbs up on your way out of here. And we will catch you tomorrow on the DNVR Broncos podcast.